Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there. It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach? Not hardly. Welcome. My name is Richard Ciuzio, and I am a loan officer with Hudson United Mortgage, and we are live on the Phoenix National Network. For those of you who are watching, thank you for participating and the support. For those of you that are newcomers, if you haven't established an account and would like to, you're more than welcome. You can download the app from the Play Store on your iPhone or Android devices. You can also watch us on YouTube or our Facebook page as well. So a little bit about me. Once again, my name is Richard Ciuzio, and I am a loan officer with Hudson United Mortgage. I am licensed in the states of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Florida. And I wanted to talk to you today. This month is Entrepreneurship Month, so I am revolving my topic of conversation around what it takes and what it takes to be a mortgage broker and an entrepreneur at the same time. So a little bit about me. I absolutely love doing what I do as a mortgage broker. And if anybody had asked me 20, 25 years ago if I'd be working in the banking or mortgage industry, I would have laughed right in their faces. But instead, life has brought me down this path, and I believe it was for a reason. And that reason is to help people acquire a home for themselves and for their family. I absolutely love doing what I do. I take a lot of pride in my work, and I find it extremely rewarding. And most of all, and most importantly, I do have fun doing it, and I have fun on a daily basis. I wake up in the morning, I jump out of bed. Today's going to be a good day, and let's get to work. So if anybody wants a free consultation, my services are free of charge. You're more than welcome to reach me on my cell phone, which is area code 321-634-2552, or you can shoot me an email. I'm very responsive at richard.cusio@hudsonunited.com. So I'm going to jump right into it. And just tell you, the primary function of a mortgage broker and a loan officer, as I am, is to bring people together who want to borrow money and buy real estate with lending institutions who advance their funds for the purpose of the real estate purchases. My task, which highlights my character, and I believe what makes me stand out amongst others, is that I'll educate the borrowers, and I'll take the time to do it on the qualification process, the loan process, closing costs. I'll provide some helpful tidbits on the do's and the don'ts, and more importantly, I am extremely responsive. I do get back to you within minutes, hours. You're not going to hear. You're not going to not hear from me from 2 days on, 24, 48 hours. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can, even if it is on a Sunday. I'll also hold your hands and walk you through the entire loan process, and I'll be there from start to finish to make sure that your loan is closing on time or within that 30-day grace period as you get in the state of New York. So I'd like to start one of my segment with part 2 of entrepreneurship. If you tuned in last week, I did entrepreneurship as a mortgage broker part 1. This is going to be a continuation, part 2, and I'd like to start this continuation with a quote that is attributed to Benjamin Franklin. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this rings true to many facets in life, but none more clearly than entrepreneurship. Without a solid business plan, it is almost impossible to secure funding, build a trust with business partners or colleagues, or measure and repeat success. As a mortgage broker, a plan that is tailored to fit the wholesale industry as a roadmap can help you structure your business and scale fast. So when you or me or anybody else sees a gap in the market, it can be very inviting. And you can dive in, you might want to dive right in head first. But by doing that, we're taking a big risk if you don't do your homework. So whether you're looking at starting up your own business or you want to bring your current business to the next level, so to speak, you're going to need a solid plan that covers the basics. And you're going to want to ask yourself these questions. Who is your target market? Who is your target market? Do you want to focus on residential, or do you want to focus on commercial homes or offices and buyers? Do you want to focus on first-time home buyers, So you can, like doing what I'm doing, educating the borrower through the process and explaining what to expect throughout the entire process and at the closing table? Or do you want an experienced investor, that somebody who knows their stuff and is going to, give you everything you need right then and there and be like, all right, let's get this done? Are you wanting to work with an owner occupied property, or do you want to focus your attention on secondary or vacation homes or investment properties? Perhaps you want to master the renovation loans. Maybe you want to flip houses. Maybe your niche would be to get in the condo and co-op side of things and just do small condos and co-ops. You know, but knowing where to focus your attention is an integral part and of establishing yourself in the industry. Find your niche, find what you're good at, and brand yourself within that market. Because once you get yourself established, you'll be known as the renovation guy, you'll be known as the condo or co-op guy, you'll be known as the investment guy, and then your clients, your borrowers, anybody that they come across who is looking for your particular niche product, they're going to send them your way. The next question you want to ask yourself is where are you going to focus? What neighborhood are you going to focus on? What cities, what regions? Are you going to market yourself in an inner city or suburban or a rural area? You know, will you be willing to take virtual clients and online applications? One needs to make sure that for families with small children, that the school district has a good rating. You want to familiarize yourself with the area you're going to focus on. Know the city limits, know the boundaries, know where public transportation is, know the school limit ratings, know where all the public facilities are, recreational areas, things like that. Um, for those buyers who like to live a healthy lifestyle, work out, stay healthy, maybe they're nature goers, maybe you want to focus on areas that have parks and recreation and hiking trails, or that are in close proximity to fitness centers and gymnasiums. Having all these minute details worked out for your borrowers can really differentiate yourself from other brokers. So knowing your area is very important when you're um, starting out your business, or if you want to be a entrepreneur in the mortgage industry. The next question you can ask yourself is, how big do you want your business to be? Do you want it to be so big that you're just overwhelmed and drowning yourself in paperwork and loans and clients? Or do you want to have a nice balance and a steady flow of business, a couple, two, three, four loans a week type of thing? You know, what do you need to break even? How many loans per month is it going to take you? Or how many loans per month do you need to take on in order to pay your bills, support your family, finance your networking, pay your rent, um, and still live a comfortable lifestyle and still save money at the same time? More importantly, how much work can you realistically manage? You know, having too much work to handle can be detrimental to your job, to your work, to your career. Maybe you'll forget appointments. Maybe you'll forget to submit a loan. Maybe you'll forget to do a pre-approval. Maybe you'll forget to email a pre-approval after you're finished one. Um, there maybe you'll forget some tasks, or something will slip through the crack. Look, nobody's perfect. We don't expect you to be. If we were perfect, we'd all be able to walk on water. Last time I tried, I drowned. So what can I say? It's important that you keep a balance of life and work, and not overwhelm yourself and get sucked into that vortex that you can never recoup from. Everybody needs downtime. Take some time, you know, 10, 20, 30 minutes a day. Take some time where you shut your phone off, you don't pay attention to the computer, whether you want to take a walk around the block, meditate, sit down and watch a sitcom, just get some me time in, whatever your forte is, whatever your pleasure is. Give yourself some time. You don't want to be, one of those people that is a workaholic. It's great for, some people, but it's not great for everyone, and it's not good for your health either. So find that balance and learn how to manage it. You know, um, when expanding your business, if you want to grow, do you think you might want to expand out of your current territory? For instance, Hudson United Mortgage, our base of operations is Westchester and Rockland County. I'm in Westchester. I live in Yonkers. I work in Elmsford. But we are licensed throughout the entire state of New York, and we do loans throughout the entire state of New York. New York is our mothership, so to speak. And all of the loan officers are like the peon scout ships of the mothership that go and they find the business throughout that state. So it's important to establish yourself within that region of the mothership. And although if you want to expand your business, then do so within the confines of your business. you know, like I mentioned before, I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Florida because the company I work for, Hudson United Mortgage, is licensed to do business and originate loans, and I'm licensed to originate loans in those states. I wouldn't get a license and expand my market or my business to Ohio. I'm not licensed there. The company's not licensed there. Why would I do that? That would make no sense whatsoever. So you want to stay within the confines. It's good. It's a good idea to be licensed in that region where your mothership is, because also, what if for some reason the company or you yourself, maybe you lose your licensing, maybe you forget to renew it on time, maybe your business isn't as lucrative in the area that you expanded to. You'll need something to fall back on, which would be, in my case, or in this case, it would be New York. New York is the mothership. When I run out of gas, I got to go back to the mothership to refuel. Same thing here. It's you. If without New York, we're not going to have all those other um, expanding territories, satellite companies, whatever you want to call it. New York is a central hub for Hudson, so that's where I first got my licensing. Um, and then the last question would be, what is your long-term growth plan? You know, how much extra staffing are you going to need? Do you want to hire more loan officers? Can you afford to hire more loan officers, processors, managers, loan scrubbers, payroll? Are you going to have insurance? These are things that you're going to want to ask yourself if you can afford it, if you're going to be starting up your own business. Are you going to utilize are you going to utilize the use of virtual assistants to help you with these day-to-day tasks of running your business? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just hire somebody old school just to have a secretary in the office. Who knows? A lot of things are being done virtually these days, and um, a lot of since COVID, most of the jobs, or I would say pretty much almost all the jobs, if you're on a computer every day, can be done remotely. So why not utilize it? You don't have to worry about. I find that since COVID, believe it or not, even though the human factor and the contact, the face to face, the personalization, even though that has decreased, I think productivity has definitely increased, because instead of you know waking up and getting ready to work and go to work and driving there and getting stuck in traffic and all that jazz, I find that I wake up even earlier. I roll right out of bed, I grab my cup of coffee, and I start working. I'm productive now, instead of between 9 and 9, I'm more productive between 7 and 8 in 12, 13 hour day. And at come 7, 8 o'clock, I've already put in 12 or 13 hours. So those are long days, but I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And I find that since then, since working remotely and being at home, I've been more productive. um, are you going to need a new premises to work on when you expand? Are you going to move out of your 2 or 3 room office and have to expand to a bigger commercial lot? Are you going to need more offices? Are you going to need more space? Um, are you going to be able to cover these costs, these increased costs, electricity, rent, whatever, everything that comes into play when you're expanding your your office, your business? Do you need licensing? Every state has their own mandate for licensing. So you have to follow your guidelines for that individual state. Some states don't require fingerprinting, like for a mortgage broker. Some states do. Some states require electronic. Some states require the old ink fingers on an ink rolling method, like you just been arrested and you're getting your mugshot taken, turn left, turn right, look straight, the whole deal. um, you have to follow those guidelines. You have to find out what those guidelines are, and you have to abide by them. And that's the only way that you're going to get licensed for those states. Each state has fees that are going to they're going to incur. You've got to pay for the licensing fees. You've got to pay for your fingerprinting. You've got to pay for the tests and the continuing education. You have to do that every single year. But every state has their own mandate on how many hours of continuing education you're going to need, what kind of process, criminal background check, fingerprinting, credit check, all that stuff. They all have their own mandates on what it takes to get licensing. So you'll have to find out that as well. Um, I don't have a long-term growth plan. I have a 5-year plan as of right now. My 5-year plan, it consists of one, getting my own place. I'd like to move to Connecticut. I'm currently in New York. I'll still stay licensed in New York and those other states, but Connecticut, believe it or not, it's a lot cheaper on property taxes. So it fits my budget a lot better than New York does. And it's just as beautiful, especially in the fall. Love the four seasons. It's one of my favorite things that I've come to love from moving from Florida up to New York. I also want to focus and build my clientele and build more business out there in Connecticut. I think there's a lot of untapped potential, and I would like to ultimately become one of the top producers in Connecticut for Hudson United Mortgage. That's my short term goal. What's yours? Remember, it's not where you go, it's who you meet along the way. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, my name is Richard Ciuzio with Hudson United Mortgage, and we are on the Phoenix National Network. If you have any questions or need to give me a call, want a consultation, please reach out 321-634-2552, or you can shoot me that email, richard.ciuzio@hudsonunited.com. Everybody stay safe, and those who tuned in, thank you again for the support. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Ricky.
I
Hey,
am here. I am here.
so I had a couple questions for you.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Yeah,
So I was just quickly
no
I was
problem.
just quickly going to ask you this quick question about
Sure,
your
sure.
presentation. So when you got into the business of doing mortgage, getting into the mortgage industry, what was your first inspiration?
All right, say that one more time. I'm sorry. I was breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said, what was your inspiration for doing,
Ins-
for getting involved in the business?
Believe it or not, man, I didn't have any inspiration whatsoever. I worked, so here a little bit of background. I worked food industry for over 25 years. From the time I was 17 or 18, I was in and out of restaurants. I mean, one of my favorite jobs was working in a Japanese place, learning how to do hibachi, learning how to make sushi, learning all the secret sauces like the seafood sauce and the teriyaki sauce, and making the sushi rice and making fried rice and deveining the
Mhm.
shrimp, like everything. I loved it. Was one plus it was one of the best companies to work for. They were old school. I mean, they were Japanese American, but they they fed their employees lunch during the day, and on Friday and Saturday nights they fed their employees dinner. They celebrated the 4th of July and Memorial Day holidays with picnics, and they closed the restaurant down. It was one of the best places I've ever worked at. And then through the years I continued, I did some serving, I worked kitchen duties, I did catering, so on and so forth. And when I moved up here, I transferred to another company. And look, when you're working food industry for 25, 30 years, it puts a toll on your body. And, I'm pushing 40. I'm a few years shy. I'm not going to get there quite yet. But however, you can't do this your whole life. And I wanted to get into management. I'm like, look, at least I can get some benefits. At least I can get 401k. When that really put a toll, even worse on the body and the stress that I was going through, um, one of my buddies that I actually met through the company, he told me about, he said, "Hey, Trustco Bank is hiring. I'm the hiring manager. Why don't you come and fill out an application and see if I can get you a good word?" I said, "All right, cool, no problem." And I filled out the application. They hired me as an assistant manager. 3 months of training of like, this was 2019. So from March to June, I was training. By June, I was in the branch. By October, they had promoted me to full-time branch manager. I got a promotion. Now, with all the networking that I have been doing, which is important, which is
Mhm.
why I stress networking, because during the holiday times, they were having holiday parties. This was pre-COVID, so we didn't have to worry about social distancing or anything like that. I met a bunch of people, and I guess I rubbed off on my current boss, my employee, my coworkers the right way. On, believe it or not, I was on the dance floor, but he he like, beginning of January, I got a phone call,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Hey, Ricky, so and so from Hudson United Mortgage," and I'm like, "Hi, can I help you? Why are you calling me on my work phone? What's going on?" I'm like, "Am I getting punked right now?" I didn't know what to think. And they're like, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you about a job opportunity. Are you willing to come?" And I was like, "Can I call you back on a regular phone, my cell phone, in a few minutes?" I'm feeling a little scared over here talking on the business line. I'm like, "Let me get off the phone. Let me call them." And I like what they had to say. I like what they had to offer. And I went with it. I had an opportunity to pick up and start somewhere fresh with a company, one, to make more money, two, to have flexibility in my surroundings, and and be surrounded by 25 or 30 years of knowledge and experience that I'm not going to say that I didn't have at the bank, but was more at my fingertips, and everything was done right where I was. I didn't have to go and fight upstate battles to get processing or pre-approvals. I do all this myself now. So I I fell in love with it. It took a lot of time to learn, but you know, I fell in love with the job. I fell in love with the people. Um, I love doing what I do. I have a great team of processors. I have a great team of loan officers. I have a great team of management staff. They're always willing to help. They go above and beyond. So, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without them. But what keeps me going, what's my inspiration, is when I get those phone calls from the father, the mother crying to me on the phone saying, "Thank you so much that you're one of the greatest people I've worked with, and you helped me get a home for my daughter and my family. And I want to thank you so much." And that right there, that says it all, man. That's all those crappy days that I have. One phone call like that turns everything around. It turns this frown upside down. And that's what it does. And that's what inspires me. That's
Well,
what
I'm
that's what
glad
keeps
I'm
me
glad you
going.
did that because we refinanced with you guys and saving $500 a month now, which I'm putting towards paying off the house even quicker.
Yeah, Oscar has a 10-year plan. His 10-year plan is to be in Spain, and I think I'm going with him and his wife. They don't know it yet, but
And
um,
yeah, yeah, me too.
they're they
I don't think they
I
know
have the
about me going
adoption
either.
papers. The
he's
adoption papers are ready.
they're saving, yeah, it's like close to 400, 500. It's like 467 or something like that. With the money they're saving, he's attacking his principal balance. He's getting that much more equity in his home faster. And if he's not putting it all towards his principal balance, which he's going to get back on the sale of his home anyways, just so you guys know, he's keeping his payments low so he can save more money each month. He could have done a 15-year, he could have done a 20-year, but that would have raised his payment that he's currently paying now. So
Mhm.
he's taking that money that he's saving, which is almost $400 or almost $500. He's putting it right towards his principal balance. And if he's tucking some away in a savings account or an interest bearing account, then, like, it's a win-win. He's and from the sale of his home, he's going to clear. He's going to clear a nice chunk of change when he sells that house in 10 years, and that's for sure. Because the way the way the market is and the way the homes are selling, if this stays like this for the next foreseeable future, there's no reason why he's not going to be able to sell his house for 750, 800,000, and he's got a 2-unit house too. So that's moneymaker.
Yeah, and again, you talk about networking and how important networking is. Here we are networking together. We refinanced the house through you. Now Lori steps in, who's the newest member, one of the newest members of this gang, and she's like, "Hey, you got that $500 you're putting towards equity. Let's do this with the $500 because now she's licensed in New York. So all you guys in New York, you're going to be hearing from me about what Lori does." And she basically says, instead of putting that $500 towards a principal and paying it off in 25 years, we can put it in what she's doing and pay the house off in 15 years. So
Nice.
it's still like getting a 15-year mortgage. It's the one thing that we keep saying at PNN is save time, save money, talk to an expert, and get the job done. Because without Ricky, it would be a 30-year mortgage, and with Ricky, it's still a 30-year mortgage, but that $500 is going towards a principal. Now Lori steps in, that $500 is going to be going somewhere else to help pay off the house in half the time. It's a beautiful thing. And then Karen will keep us healthy.
Yeah, it's using money as currency. You save in one area, you transfer it to another. That's going to help you make more money. But the reason I hijacked Ricky's segment a little bit because I saw the look at his face, like, okay,
like I wasn't expecting this, but let's do it. I'm good. Let's do it.
But Ricky, because I feel the difference between you and some of the other people I've met in your industry is that you put your heart in everything.
Well, Ricky's just different. Ricky's just different anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's well, but I mean, other than his friendly and magnetic personality, it's like his heart is in helping people get the best that he can offer. And you have to be able to appreciate that when you're working with someone. When somebody says, Ricky, I'm looking to sell my house, that is one of their most valuable assets. And they're coming to him, and he takes it that seriously. So that's what I have admired about how you do things, Ricky. You are all in. 100%.
I am. There's nothing worse than getting to the closing table, which has happened. Look, I'm not tooting my own horn. The loans that I've lost have lost, I don't have a perfect track record, but they were due to unforeseen circumstances. The borrower didn't like the closing costs at the end of the table. They thought it was going to be something else, which is not our fault. That's based on the estimate. He was going by the initial disclosures. You can't go by initial disclosures. That's why they're called initial disclosures, because fees are going to change. The plain and simple. We don't know when we do a loan estimate. We don't know what your taxes are going to be, especially in today's day and age with the housing market going up. Your property taxes are going to go up too, because the value of the homes are going for more. So we don't get those fees back until everything is accounted for: title, appraisal, the attorney's fees, credit. All that stuff is taken into consideration. So, that was one aspect. Another one was I lost a battle on the appraisal, and the borrower, wasn't my fault. The borrower and the seller couldn't come to the agreement when the appraisal came back $30,000 less than what the purchase price was. That's the thing about financing. A lot of people don't know that. The bank will only, on conventional loans, the bank will only lend up to a certain percentage, 95% on a conventional loan of the appraised value, not the purchase price, the appraised value. So if it appraises under, the borrower has to come out of pocket with those extra funds, the difference, if they can't come into an agreement with the seller. Another time, a borrower was denied by the co-op board. Not my problem. I mean, it was my problem, but it wasn't my fault, I should say. The co-op board had regulations. they don't use overtime as income because it's not guaranteed, which sucks for a lot of firefighters and NYPD, cooks, anybody, nurses. That means all these careers that are heavily relied on getting overtime pay as pay cannot qualify to live in this particular complex because they don't use overtime as guaranteed money. I'm sorry, Yonkers PD, they'll start you out at like 80,000, 75,000 a year. You'll get a $5,000 bonus every single year for the first 5 years, but you're making another 50 or 60,000 in overtime. You're making 130, $140,000 a year, and half of your salary is all overtime. So, it was unfortunate that these happened, but the loans that I've lost, they were due to unforeseen circumstances. And do I feel it? Yeah, like you said, I put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work, and I pour my heart and my soul into all these loans. So when something doesn't happen,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
stinks.
Right.
And sometimes it couldn't have happened. I feel so bad because the borrowers are, most of the time, they are just the nicest people. And I'm like, I feel so bad for them. I'm like, all they wanted to do was get a little house. That's all they
Right.
wanted, was just a
Right.
little home to go home and hang their hat every single day and kick their shoes off, sit down with some popcorn after dinner and just relax. And crap happens. What can I say? It's a dog
Yeah.
eat dog world.
Well, because there's so many factors. There's so many factors to the business,
There
right?
is. There's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot. Look, I'm learning every single day. I learn something new every single day, constantly asking questions. I don't have all the answers. And that's another thing that I like, why I love where I work, because if I don't have the answer, some of these other people do. And I reach out to them
Right.
daily. Daily. I'm calling people, I'm bugging people, but they're more than happy to help me. And I'm blessed that I work in an organization that cares so much.
My last question is this. Oscar, do you have any questions or?
Oh, no, I'm just listening to Rick, and I'm
Rick and
good.
Morty.
So I have my last question,
Sure.
Ricky. So
Yep.
let's say somebody's watching this and they say, I am so interested in being a part of that. What you just spoke about. Can you help them get involved in that, or
Get involved in what? Being a mortgage?
being a mortgage business? Yeah.
Well, they would have to start out small, maybe start off like processing or something like that, and then we would have to see how they adapt to look, it's not for everybody. I'm going to be honest with you. It takes, there's a lot of, I don't want to say, it takes a little bit of business smarts, but it takes some street smarts too. And if you can't grasp the education of what's being taught with you, if you can't, a lot of these, because I do processing as well as a junior processor, so I actually work two jobs within Hudson
Mm-hmm.
United. So you have to, when my main processors are sending me these requests, order title, order employment verification, order mortgagee clauses from the insurance, track down these co-op and condo documents for lender approval, you have to be able to maneuver and manipulate the requests into your own verbiage and into your own words. You have to make it yours, and you have
Right.
to know how to talk to people. Nobody wants to deal with a butthead on the other side of the phone. They really don't. They don't want to deal with lack of a better word. You know what I'm trying to say. They don't want to deal with that type of
Untrained
person.
person. Yeah.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Not the untrained person, but just somebody who's nasty via email. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's not. You have to have some suave, and that's why they think they call me Rico Suave too in the thing, because the girls I work with, they say Rico. They call me Rico because I, like, man, that's suave the way you did that. I was like, that's cool. I was like, look, nobody, there's no point in being mean. There's
Mm-hmm.
not. So, can I help them? Yeah, I could point them in the right direction, absolutely, and
Right.
see where they stand. And if I know that somebody is hiring, or if I know that we're hiring within the organization, if you have some experience, it doesn't hurt. I can always point you in the right direction. But we have to make sure that that, one, that you're able to do the job, and two, that you can adapt to doing the job and not having your hand held all the time. So
that's excellent. That's excellent. And I think that's really a great way to learn business. This is Entrepreneurial Week, and we want to give you the real lowdown on being an entrepreneur. You know, it's most of the time people talk about this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can make a lot of money really fast just by taking these 4 easy steps. You know, but I mean, the reality of it is you get what you put in.
right.
You get what you put in. It's full time. It's sweat and tears, but the rewards are fantastic. And I'm glad you pointed that out, Ricky. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For sharing, man. And so that's it for us. Now, next we have Karen Mayo. She's going to be coming up. She's our health and wellness coach. So she's going to give us some information as well. We look forward to seeing her then. And after that is Frank Coppola. So take care, folks, and we'll see you in a few. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Doo-doo.